Let's Talk Oculus, a VR podcast, is proudly sponsored by the good folks at Patreon. If you want to support the show, join us on patreon.com/Let's Talk Oculus.
What's up, Oculus nerds? Welcome back to episode 231 of Let's Talk Oculus. This week, we're getting to know Upload VR game journalist Mike Johnson, and he's going to be talking about his trip recently to GDC, all things VR that he's allowed to talk about. We'll be getting to know him first, then we'll get into that. Then we'll be getting into a little bit of news and a little bit of what we've been playing. Mike, thanks for coming back. How are you?
Yeah, it's still, I have imposter syndrome. So every time someone says journalist to me, I'm like, no, it's I'm getting used to it. Working on getting used to it. You come up every so often on the podcast, and it's you've now have an evolution of before it was Great.
Live Open Mic VR from YouTube, and now we like to compound as many words as we can to
listen. How many titles can I get on here?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But thank you for coming back. Dan
Absolutely.
is across the pond. We scheduled, a little break behind the wall. We scheduled a little bit before, but the nice weather finally here in the Northeast. Mike, the snow is melted, and I got a little extra walk in. So I appreciate you delaying for us a little bit there.
It's all good. I'm in Georgia, and I am blessed with the fact that it's been 70s for the last week or so here. So, I get it.
Yeah, it's finally nice enough to be able to get outside. It's beautiful. But before we get into about you, Mike, we've got a little housekeeping.
Of course, let's get it.
Housekeeping. So we've got a Discord here at Let's Talk Oculus. It is below in the description. Come on down. You can talk about Walkabout. We've got a general chat for everything. We've got a 3D printing thread that's it's a little quiet these days, but at one point it was pretty active. So we've got a thread for everything. I'm a big fan of the pet channel myself. And the updates. You can get a lot of VR game updates in our Discord.
It's a good place to hang out and just talk VR with a bunch of adults. That's the important thing is because it's not built around a certain game. There's no one game dominates the conversation. It's just, hey, whatever we're into is what we talk about. It's great.
Exactly. Come with questions, a lot of questions, and we've got answers. That's for sure. But I also mentioned Walkabout. We've got a special Walkabout thread, and we have a Walkabout tournament season. It's hard to say what you call it, but who leads it is Healing Entree, and thank you so much. Once we're recording a little before he releases next week's courses, so you'll have to come on down to the Discord to find out what courses we're playing this week. But last week, well, let me tell you a little bit about last week. We played Forgotten Fairy Tale Easy Mode and Hollywood, the new course, Hard Mode. Mike, you know a little bit about this Hollywood course, don't you?
I had the pleasure of doing a walking tour with two people from Mighty Coconut, Don Carson and Shane Rhodes. They walked me through the whole course. I didn't say anything. I was just a camera, just kind of floating around. And they talked about all the different aspects of it. I interviewed Don the day after that. All this stuff is on uploadvr.com, by the way. Just, go to uploadvr.com. So we had a great talk about specifically that course, and because he was one of the leads on it. And then we'll get this more at GDC. But when we talk about GDC, I talked to Lucas Martel, the CEO of Mighty Coconut. Hollywood was kind of sprinkled in there with, his background in Hollywood and how he kind of brought that to the game. So funny enough, though, I just played it with my friends the other night for the first time. That was the first time I did the ball hunt. Because the first few times I walked through it, I just did it for work, and we don't cover ball hunts and fox hunts. So I just wanted to pay attention to the course itself.
Did you find them all?
Yeah, I got them all. Well, I normally play. By the time I play it, most of my friends have already played it. So they'll let me look for the ball for about 3 minutes before they say, hot or colder, until I figure out where it is.
Yeah, there were a couple. I think it was 2 and 15 really My God, they took me a while to find.
2 was ridiculous. 2 was ridiculous. I remember that one.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And that's just a part of the joy of playing before. There's like, all the videos that you can sort of, the game facts, if you will. I remember that's part of what I really liked playing Vertigo 2. I played it before.
Same.
There were playthroughs. So it's just like, what am I doing? I don't know.
Yeah, same. I played that day one. And I had a really hard time tearing myself away from it that first stream. I love that game. So Walkabout, it was I'm a nerd for like behind the scenes stuff and like how now I kind of care how the sausage is made. So for me, it was fascinating hearing about like all the little like personal touches that each designer brought into it. Like in that prop room around, I can't remember what hole it is, but there's a little safe in the prop room. And Shane Rose's father, he's a 3D modeler for Mighty Coconut. His father's favorite movie is the Maltese Falcon. So there's a little Maltese Falcon in that safe. That's just a little Easter egg for Shane and his dad. Like I love little stuff like that.
That's cool.
Like
honestly, Walkabout feels like it has a lot of that.
That course specifically. Yeah. There's a lot of homages to like old stuff and stuff that's coming up that I got some insight on that I'm not going to say anything more about because a laser will zap me from space if I say anything more. But yeah, there's some teasers for future courses in there too if you're looking at.
A little sprinkle of the future. And so come on down to the Discord.
Yes.
That's all I want to get to.
Read that.
Yeah. Now I'll get into the comments. There are no comments this week. So get in the comments if you got any questions. There was actually one. It was somebody was struggling with being able to use the character in Demio Battlemarked. But it just kind of seemed like a bug to me, I think.
Gotcha. Okay.
Not too sure. Now, I guess we're getting to the main course here, Mike. So I want to thank.
It feels so weird that you're interviewing me. We've known each other for so many years. It's crazy.
Yeah, and before you've like co-hosted, it was it was less about you,
right?
To be honest, and you know what? This time we're like, let's turn the spotlight on this game journalist. We now can
turn my spotlight off. No, we're not doing this. No, I'm playing.
And thank you to patrons of the show, Futureproof and DMAX, for submitting some questions to you. But before we get to their questions, I like to get to my own questions because this is, after all, half my podcast. So, Mike, what was your first system and or console?
My first, my dad had an Atari 2600. So, yes, I'm old. And then, the first Nintendo, and then just kind of went from there.
Nice. So you were a Nintendo guy.
I am a lifelong Nintendo guy. Nintendo and VR are my things. I've never owned the Xbox, never owned the PlayStation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's wild. That's wild to me. But I respect it. Nintendo is lovely. Now, if you could pick a favorite or a pleasant childhood memory, a gaming memory you have, what might it be? If you need like a second to think about one, I got one. All right, go for it.
I got one. I was really frustrated with my brother because my brother used me as like his tackling dummies when he would practice games. So we played a lot of Tecmo Bowl.
He's older?
He's older. Yes, he's 4 years older than me. And he kicked my butt all the time. And I got really frustrated. And I'm a kid, so I started crying. So my dad came home one day and said, hey, because he knew I was into like fantasy stuff. I read like fantasy kid books when I was a kid and stuff. So he came home with this gold cartridge, which was like the coolest thing I've ever seen in the world. It was the first Legend of Zelda game. And I popped that in, and my mom tried to call me for dinner like 5 hours later. It was on the weekend. And my dad was like, nope, he's good. Leave him alone. And I just played the first Zelda game for 12 straight hours.
That's wild.
Yeah. I remember I woke up the next morning in bed and asked, and my mom told me that my brother and my dad like put me in bed because I fell asleep with the controller in my hand. Nintendo was still on. I've had a love affair with Zelda games ever since.
That's awesome. No food for me tonight. I'm good. No. I got Zelda.
Didn't care. Didn't care. To this day, whenever a new Zelda game comes out, I disappear. Like no one knows me for a few days.
I do not really have a game for that like that, but I have put in PTO around when I think GTA will be coming out. But I've already had to move that PTO once.
That will be when I finally guest host with Dan, because that'll be the one time you don't show up for the pod. Because Dan will be sitting here in Riverside, like, where's Samson? Like, I don't know where he is. And then he'll just ping me. He'll just ping me and I'll just pop in.
That'll be it. Dan does, we'll get to his questions, but he does want to host with you. He does. And my last question for you is, where did live open mic originate?
My first original plan for Twitch was for my name to be Midlife Crisis, and that was taken. So at that point in the back of my mind, I thought my Twitch stream was going to be almost like a podcast about VR. It quickly became something else. So live open mic kind of came off the idea that, microphone, mics are hot, mics are live, whatever the radio people say. Kind of came from there. So I ran it by my then wife and she liked it. And I was like, all right, cool. And she approves because she does not give two shits about any of it. Sorry, pardon my language. She does not give any craps about any of this. So, okay, so she approves, then I'm good. So I went with that.
It is pretty good. And there is I can't believe there was already a midlife VR. Like,
I didn't want to put VR on my name.
Okay.
I did not want to put VR on my name. Because I told myself there might be a point, maybe this VR thing, I hate to say it now because it's weird to say it now. I didn't know if I was going to stick with it.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, if I don't stick with it, I'll just be a Zelda streamer because I love Zelda so much. So
Squashy told me the same thing. He's like, I didn't want to have VR in my name.
Right.
So that brings us to the first questions from Future Proof. Mike, how does a VR news and reviews website, such as Upload VR, being a niche interest, afford to have multiple fully paid staff on its roster, freelancers, and even go to events with flights, food, hotels?
Okay, I can't answer that question specifically about Upload because one, I'll get fired, and two, I've never seen the financials for Upload, so I can't give that insider information. I will say that I know how a lot of these websites function from having known a lot of people over the years. And it's a three-headed beast. It's a hydra. Ad revenue. So all those ads that pop up on every single site you ever go to now, some of them are way intrusive. They're these gigantic banners that pop up in separate windows, and some of them are just, banner ads at the bottom and on the sides like we do. Those are every time a page loads, we're getting paid. And if you think about the traffic that comes through a typical website that has any kind of notoriety, there you go. So that's one thing. Paid memberships. So Patreon, YouTube Upload has a separate membership program. Stuff that happens on YouTube too, for the VR download, which will come back, by the way. And
just to note, the Upload subscription, when you have that, you no longer get the ads. Yes,
just like Twitch. So if you don't want ads anymore on Upload, become a paid member because we'd appreciate that. And sponsorships. There's a whole person who works in advertising for us and gets us sponsorship buy-ins, things like that. The showcase. When you see sponsored by such and such, those are people who actually pay for that kind of advertising and front facing feature. They get longer trailers, things like that. Like
a different ad.
Yeah. Just like, the game show that Jeff Keighley hosts and the Super Bowl and all that, sponsorships, things like that. So that's kind of the three-headed beast. I'm sure there's more behind the scenes that I don't know about, but that's how most media websites function.
Yeah, I mean, I saw he asked this question first, and my answer straight away was probably ads.
Yeah,
but he did want it to be flushed out, and I think he gave a pretty good answer there.
Yeah, content creators are kind of the same way. It's not unlike content creation, honestly. YouTubers, we make money on ads, we make money on sponsorships. If you take one for people, and paid memberships, Patreons and things like that. Same thing, same idea.
Yeah, it's all kind of in the media landscape. Next one. Mike, do you have any advice or tips on how to make a good first impression and then mingle well with someone you've just met, as you seemingly did very successfully at the recent conference? Like networking.
So that's hard to answer because I was doing it for work. And when I do it for work, I'm normally like this anyway, but don't make the conversation about you. If you're meeting someone interesting, but you're there in a work capacity, you care about what they're into or what they're working on and things like that. So, hey, nice to meet you. They don't know me because I just started with the company. So I met a lot of people that I had never interacted with before. Not going to sit here and name drop, but some people I've known for years just through email, and some people I met for the first time.
Shaquille O'Neal.
No, okay, nothing like that within the VR ecosphere. Let's say it like that. But yeah, you just make it about them. You ask questions, and don't ever ask a yes or no question. Ask a question that just lets someone run their mouth for 1 or 2 minutes. Because somewhere in there, just like this question you just asked me, somewhere in there, I might say something that you want to follow up on, and then it just becomes a very natural conversation at that point. If it's like, so it's your first time here in San Francisco? Yes. That doesn't do anything for me,
Yeah.
So open-ended questions
you can get a couple of those to like warm someone up, and then you want to, get into the open-ended, definitely. And oftentimes you can sort of share about yourself through the questions you're asking about other people. Like as you're getting to know deeper about somebody else, like maybe you're and then all of a sudden you're going and you're getting to know one another.
And also keep it quick. No one wants to be standing there talking to one person for 20, 30 minutes. Everyone's there to network. So you got, I say like a 2 or 3 minute window to make your impression, small talk, exchange contact info if it goes well. You kind of have to learn to read, someone's kind of vibing. And, hey, I love to sit down and do a formal interview with you sometime. I'd love to talk to you more about that. Can I get your contact info?
And then move on.
That sort of thing. Yeah, exactly.
Next one. How and when did Samson and Dan meet you in the first place?
I'll start with you because I met you way before I met Dan. I met you, and I'll never forget this. We were on Twitter having a side conversation about something. You said, I'm going to paraphrase it, but you said that every VR game should have some form of multiplayer. And I'm like, who is this idiot? So we
stand by it.
We had a whole back and forth about it. But at the end of that conversation, this was in 2022 or 23. It was shortly after you started co-hosting. So whatever that was, you said we should have you on the podcast sometime. And then years later, it finally happened. But yeah, because I went, what podcast? And then I actually looked at your bio and looked it up, started listening. And I met Dan when I came to the Discord. So because I think I'd ever interacted with him before that.
That makes sense. Yeah. I'm big on the games I grew up with on like the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 era, where you get the tacked on multiplayer game. I remember like Sarge's Heroes, like an Army Man game where you'd have like a single player campaign that was not really why I was there. And then I'd have 4-player split screen with the Army Man. I'm like, yeah, this is why I'm here. But I understand. I definitely understand why. Certainly now more it's a lot cheaper to not have a multiplayer game.
Yeah,
and less risky.
Yeah, scope creep and add time to the development process. Risky. Yeah. I mean, everything's risky right now.
Definitely like servers. Yeah.
Yeah, everything feels like a risk these days. It's crazy.
All right. Next one from Future Proof. We got 2 more. Or 3 more, rather. Here we go. We're going to get to the serious ones. Exactly why do you not like peanut butter?
Future,
the most delicious.
It is my mother's fault. My older brother, and my younger sister, she's no longer with us, God rest her soul. And all 3 of us hate peanut butter, watermelon, and pickles. And when my mother was pregnant with us, each one of us, that's all she ate 24/7. So we think when we were in the womb, we just developed a distaste for it because that's all we got for our whole gestation period for the whole 9 months. And we just said, screw this. We came out, and to this day, like my brother and I, again, my sister's no longer with us, my brother and I still to this day, like his wife cannot stand the fact that he does not like watermelon. It's really funny. Whenever we get together for like a holiday, stuff like that, she brings it up and we're like, it's genetic. I'm sorry.
I really like, I really love, I'd say, all three of those things. Like,
gross, disgusting. I like pickles on a sandwich. I won't sit there and eat a dill pickle though. And pickle flavored chips and stuff. No, get it the hell out of here. No, gross.
I can eat the pickled flavored chip. I don't think I'd seek it out. It wouldn't be my favorite.
No.
Love pickles on a sandwich. Like if I'm getting a burger or something, I'm getting like some extra pickles on that shit. And I could eat a pickle as like a snack, but it was not necessarily my go-to. It's low calorie, but pretty high sodium.
Yeah, absolutely not. No, disgusting.
Moving right along. What got you into VR in the first place? When? How?
Okay, so in the 2010s, I had walked away from gaming entirely. It just wasn't interesting to me anymore. This was like the Wii U era, which, full disclosure, which is funny now, so I'm in VR, wasn't a fan of motion control games at the time. And I was a Nintendo guy, so I was like,
screw it.
Really I
can't believe that didn't send you to like the 360 funny. Or something.
But what it did send me to was VR arcades. I got really into like laser tag because I paintballed most of my 20s. But then paintballing places started drying up, and the closest one was like 3 hours away from my house. Couldn't do that anymore because you had to drive up to the Georgia mountains to play. So I got into laser tag, which led into VR, like going to VR arcades and putting the headset on. And that was like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever, which led to other games. What was one of, I'm trying to think of a 2016 or 2017 game I played. It was something on the OG Vive, like with the really ugly wands. I hate the wands. I always hated the wands. No, awful. But I don't know, some like generic location-based entertainment shooter. Had a lot of fun with that. Would just play at randoms all the time, whoever was available at the time. Took family members, took my stepdaughters at the time, and then got a Quest on my 40th birthday in 2021. On a whim, I went to GameStop to pick up a Zelda game, and I bought a Quest 2 instead. And the rest is history. Yeah.
You didn't even get both. You're like, I'll wait on the Zelda game.
No, because I didn't. I was like, I'm probably going to bring this headset back. So let me just test it for a couple of weeks. I didn't touch it for a week because I got sick. And then when I put it on finally, picked the wrong game, got motion sick, put it down for a couple of days, picked it back up, played Beat Saber, done.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's incredible. I didn't know that there were like VR arcades around quite that early.
Yeah,
I was pretty late to discovering VR.
They were expensive. They were anywhere from $20 to $40 an hour, depending on the one you went to. I found a good one that was like $25 an hour, but it would go down if you bought more hours. So one day, I was by myself for the weekend. No one was in town. So one day I went there and said, "Hey man, I want a 6-hour block." And he looked at me and he said, "Are you serious?" Because I'd been there a few times, so you already knew.
No one's ever done 6 hours.
Yeah, no one had ever done that. So I just paid up front. So he charged me 2 3-hour blocks, and he gave me like his employee discount. And I just hung out there the whole day, and I think I was sold at that point.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I'd say so. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, I just remember I played Arizona Sunshine 1 start to finish that day.
Wow, that's just right there at the arcade.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Yeah, wow. So that was a Quest 2 or a Quest 1?
That was a Quest 2. I've never worn a Quest 1 before.
Probably better for it, I'll be honest.
Yeah. Wow,
I mean,
that bad?
It's not that bad. I mean, it sort of was my beginning, right, obviously. But it was just heavy and, very not balanced well. So I don't think I ever really spent longer than 45 to 60 there. For certain. Like, and I mostly played like Deasim and Beat Saber. I remember those are like the games that stood out most to me back then.
Yeah, I keep seeing them on the secondary market and thinking about picking one up. I'm like, I'm never going to use this. So it's literally picking up an antique to put on my shelf. That's kind of how I look at it now. And I'd rather buy a game.
I mean, yeah, it's fair. That is fair. Some people loved it for the OLED, but it had a screen door effect too. That was
I've heard that.
Worse than like I'll put on the PlayStation VR 1 and at first I'm like, not the best. But once I get like in the game, usually I'm like, oh, whatever. I'm not really noticing this. I feel like the Quest 1, you're constantly looking through that screen door.
Right.
Anyway, moving right along. Last question from Future Proof. What got you into streaming as you do stream on Twitch, and when and how?
I had a friend, his name is Eli, who used to work for me when I was a restaurant manager at Cracker Barrel. And I discovered, he told me all the time that he streamed on Twitch. And so did several other people who work for me. So I watched Twitch off and on. And then finally I watched him. And he's always been a funny guy, really outgoing, extroverted guy. And that's why I'm on Twitch. And it just felt like he was in his element. And this was after I got my VR headset. So I was like, I wonder how hard it'd be to stream VR. So did my research and I started September of 2021. That's when I started. Wow. So I always stream VR. I've streamed flat games here and there, but the channel was started as a VR channel and it's remained a VR channel pretty much the whole time.
I got to say, you put up with a whole lot of shit because streaming VR brings a lot of friction. There's always something going wrong. Yeah.
I will add more to that friction. When I started, my GPU in the computer that I bought specifically to stream, because I had the Mac before that, and that wasn't going to happen. It was an old, like a then 6-year-old MacBook. Did everything I needed to, but it was not going to stream. So I went and bought a secondhand PC from a thrift store. Check the specs, make sure everything was okay. It had an RTX 1050 in it. So there was no PCVR to be streamed there. I played Alex on the lowest settings at around 45 frames per second off stream because everyone told me I had to play it. But yeah, I'm saying this to say that I was a Quest native streamer for a year before I got a PC that could handle PCVR.
That's even more impressive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially back then, like now it's easier, but
yeah, everything on that oculus.com/casting, that 30 frame per second nonsense. Yeah. That's what I did. TTS in my ear.
And like they square it too, right?
Dude wore 2 sets of headphones. So I had TTS feeding me from a different audio stream and like a set of over the ear, earbuds. And then I wore headphones on top of it to hear the game. And Jesus. I did that for a year. That's love, man. That's love of the game.
That's some dedication. I remember you also had you'd have the phone on your arm, right? Wasn't that?
I still do that. I still do that for Quest native games. So, for those who don't know, when you are in a native Quest game, you can't see chat in VR. They had a multitasking about a year and a half ago, but then Horizon OS update broke it, so it doesn't work anymore. So what I do, I don't have my runner's band around me, or I'd show you. But I have one of those bands that like runners wear on their arms, and I would put it on my forearm, so like right here, and then put my phone in it. So I would just look out the nose hole in the bottom of my Quest and look down on my arm and read chat that way. And it was so natural that unless I pointed out that I was doing it, or someone asked me what's that on my arm, yeah, everyone thought I was just looking at chat inside the headset. And I've done that to this day when I stream Quest native games.
Nice. What's your Quest 3 like facial interface?
It's an AMVR one. AMVR sports one.
Okay. Because Dan and I both use the open one, I think. Which would
I don't like that much light. I don't like that much light bleed. I tried it. I have one behind me. I got one when I joined the Quest Creator Program, and they said to us to try. They said a couple actually to see which one we like the best. Because when you join that program, you get a headset, and I just didn't like it. I was so used to like that much light blockage that I couldn't get used to it.
I can completely understand. If I'm standing like underneath a light, there's certain situations where the light will bother the hell out of me. But I also can play. I play often in like a dark room with an IR light. So in that case, it really. Sometimes I lose track of where I am, and I can't. There's so little light around me. Like I'm looking for like my phone or something, but it almost is almost more disorienting at times. But I don't mind it at all. Really, I've
So for me specifically, I knew I couldn't stream with it because I have 3 lights on me. There's a light here to my upper left, a light to my upper right, and a light looking directly at me. So the bleed was like streaming in, and it made the picture in the headset look worse. So I couldn't do that.
That's the thing. You get like glare shots or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, thank you, Future Proof, for that set of questions. Now, for the questions from what everybody's been waiting for, at least what D-Max has been waiting for, the questions from D-Max. First one, how do you keep the review language fresh? I guess I'll read the whole question.
Yeah.
Sure, the games and news stories vary, sometimes a little, sometimes a lot, from recent ones you've written, but I wonder about the tricks or hacks you use to get over the feeling of sameness as you're writing.
I don't, because every game's different, and you have your own language that you use every day when you speak to people. So do I. Writing, as far as I've done it, has kind of felt like the same thing. It just, what changes is what I'm talking about. But I think every writer has their own voice. And the more you read someone, like I've read tons of Henry Stockdale's work. So I can kind of tell when Henry played something, even if I didn't see that his name was in the byline, just by how he writes. And you get to know certain people and like certain quirks and things like that. So I don't really try to change up or use synonyms all that often. Maybe that's a flaw of mine. I don't know. But because the games are always different, and because I'm talking about specific parts of the game, I'm fine with using, good, great, tremendous, stellar, superb, that sort of stuff. Whereas I always use when I talk about games. It doesn't really bother me because, one, I don't always play amazing games. Like it's even just a few games I review for upload. Let's see, there's been a 2-star, a couple of 3 stars, a 4. I think the highest one's been a 4 or 4.5. So quality's varied up and down too. So just from that, I say a lot of different words. Or use a lot of different words. Are you playing
a lot more games now?
No, I play less because now
you're having to write all about them.
Yeah, exactly. Like my job is now to write about VR, but these are games I would have played anyway. Eventually, I would just spend my entire weekend playing them. What really changed with this job is I got my weekend back, because now it's like I would work my day job during the day, and then I would come home and play whatever game I'm going to try to review for YouTube at night until like 2 or 3 in the morning.
Is that
exactly? So, and we're not always, some days I might have a ton to write or a ton to play, and some days are a little bit slower. And I was told that when I got hired. It's not a normal 40-hour week job. Next week we'll probably be really busy because of VR Game Showcase. The next week after that might not be so busy because there's VRGS Hangover. There's less to write about. So that'll be a point where I might write less articles, but I'm playing in headset more because I'm trying to review a game. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, so I play, but the thing that was really important was now I have 3 pillars of games. I had the stuff that I'm doing for work, I had the stuff that I'm doing for stream, and I had the stuff I keep for myself. And I have to keep those separate. That way VR stays fun for me. I don't really, aside from Fixer Undercover, which I just reviewed, I mostly play puzzle games by myself. And that's kind of like my chill veg out spot.
That makes sense. Yeah, it's definitely... There's been, ups and downs as far as the podcast, at times almost creeping and cringing on like, oh, this is kind of, again, this is not why I'm here. But I feel like I always get brought back. I'm like, yeah, this is way more fun. This is why I'm here. And I feel like as we've gone on, definitely I've found, what makes it a lot more fun to be doing the podcast.
It's important to make sure this is still fun. VR is supposed to be fun. I think so many people take it seriously, and I say this as someone who works in it full time now, but this is supposed to be fun. It's an entertainment device. So if you're not being entertained by it, something's seriously wrong there. And that's really important to remember.
We've also learned to make sure when we have guests that they have proper mics.
Right.
Pretty much all our negative reviews are like, the audio quality is not great, and it's almost always
the guest
it's almost always on a guest episode. Yeah,
someone sounds like they're in a cave or something.
Yeah, I didn't mean to bogart the
No, you're good.
D-Max's questions here. Number 2 from him. How much are you thinking about your audience as you write? Or is it more of a delivering something you would like to read? Or is it mostly about serving the game or story, just doing justice to the subject matter? Sorry.
That last one, I don't care about the audience at all. That is a weird thing to say, but I care about telling the truth. And
Gotcha.
like, it's my understanding from my interview and from having talked to Henry Stockdale and then Ian Hamilton and David Haney and the one I interviewed with Kyle, uploads about not so much about the personalities of the writers. It's about the ecosystem. It's about VR, XR, MR, AR, whatever. Because the audience has come to trust us as, if I come here, I know I'm going to get something truthful and honest, not something that's slanted. And I'm not trying to disparage any other websites or places out there, but I think Upload's really good about, like, people know who Dave Heaney is. People knew who Ian Hamilton was. Eventually, hopefully, people know who I am, who James Taccio is, my other partner, Crime in Games. But we're there about the subject matter, because ultimately that's who we're serving our audience our best by just being journalists and telling the truth. Or in the case of a review, our truth. So I don't really think about, well, I wonder if they're going to like this, because I think that creates an implicit bias of what you're trying to put out there. We'll report on anything because it's news. Some stuff gets better. We see our views on each of our articles. Not going to disclose any of those numbers, but we see what's clicking with people and what people are interested in. But that doesn't sway me one way or the other on, should I cover this or not? Like, no, it came across my desk. It's news. I'm most likely going to try to cover it. If someone's asking me to play a game, that's a little tougher because that's time consuming. But if it's like, hey, I announced my game, or I'm porting my game to this platform because I used to be on this platform, or something like that, I'll generally make sure it gets to the website.
Very good. Yeah. It's no good.
I'll say there are limits to that. You know, if someone says, "Hey, I have a Gorilla Tag clone," no, we're not covering that. Or, hey, here's my adult 18 plus game on Steam VR. No, we're not covering that either. But within reason, we try to cover as much as possible.
You know, someone just recently brought up Zenith in one of the servers I'm in, and I was like, I'm so glad I got into Zenith before it became what it is today. I got to sort of experience what it meant, what it was meant to be, so to say. And I remember, exactly. And I remember when Gorilla Tag came out, like texting my buddy, being like, "Yo, we got to get in this, like, just in case it shuts down." And boy,
it shuts down.
Yeah. Boy, I didn't have my finger on the pulse of that one.
Yeah, they were another Axiom, found lightning in the bottle. I have all the respect in the world for them for that. It's not for me, but I respect people who play it.
Yeah. Very true. It took me so long to get out of just like that. For those of you that don't know, when you start Gorilla Tag, I at least back in the 4 or 5 years ago, whatever, you'd start in like a cave area, and you had to, Gorilla Tag your way out of this small little tunnel area to get to the open area where people were playing tag. And it was sort of the way to know that you know how to move around, because if you can get yourself out of there, then you know enough to play the game. And boy, I was stuck in that freaking cave for a lot longer than I was supposed to be.
Me too.
Yeah, moving right along. Last question from D-Max. What would a multiplayer VR game need to have to really pull you into it?
I am someone who gets bored very quickly. I have the same problem with roguelites. Repeated environments, repeated actions over and over again. I lose interest very, very quickly. So if it's multiplayer, this is why Walkabout's great, because every course is completely different than the one that came before it. Even ones that have felt similar, like I didn't particularly care for Crystal Lair and Laser Lair. But like I thought Tokyo last year was fantastic. Just all the little things and little, like, just details that they put in there that's completely different than like Upside Down, for instance. So variety is really, really important to me. I love spending time with my friends, but I think playing with your friends inherently bias you for the game, because it is near impossible. Like, to the whole audience, think about the last time you played a game with your friends and you did not have fun. Like that
game's
doesn't
gotta be
happen
pretty
very often.
shit.
The game's got to be really bad. So I think multiplayer is almost like a cheat code for VR. But I will always,
It can be.
dating back to that time I mained Zelda until my dad and my brother had to put me in bed. I am always going to be a single player guy. It's just me.
Yeah, I mean, they've each got their time and place. I do love me some multiplayer though. Obviously,
I have one more. I'm sorry, I have one more thing to that.
Yeah, go for it.
I grew up reading books too, and loving books and loving TV shows and loving movies. Yeah, but like I love stories is what I'm getting at. Not soap operas, but like I love following going on a journey. Most VR multiplayer campaigns are not very good.
It's true.
Yeah. Like probably the most high profile one that people tell me all the time is like, yes, you play the whole campaign in co-op. It's something like Arizona Sunshine 2. But the first player is really the title character, the one who's screaming at all the Freds. And the other player's just kind of there. Like there's no consequential reason to play that game in 2-player. So if I were going to play something that was multiplayer, I want to do something like It Takes Two or Lately Split Fiction, something where both players matter. They have their own characters, they have their own stories and journeys, things like that. That will give me the multiplayer if the journey itself is worth it.
I've lately heard of Reanimal. If you're looking for a scary one, I think.
Yeah, a friend of mine played that. I watched him stream that the other day. That looked really good, so I'll probably pick that up.
Yeah, I think I want to get my partner to play that one, but it's currently a little too chilly to play in the basement, which is where the PS5 is. So
gotcha.
Gonna wait till it gets warmer outside before we do that. Anyway, now few more questions. These ones from Dan, just to round out part one. And if you're just popping in now for some weird reason, we're here with Mike, Upload VR game journalist. And we've been asking him a lot of questions from our LTO community. And now from my co-host, Dan, his first question.
Hi, Dan.
Aside from VR, do you have any other gaming devices in your rotation that you play?
I game on my PC. I just upgraded my PC from the 1050 that I talked about before. I got upgraded to a 3070 about 3 years ago or 4 years ago now. And I just upgraded to a 5070 Ti, Ryzen 7 9850 X3D. That's for people who don't know PCs. I have a very powerful PC now. So PC, and next month is my birthday in April. I am getting myself a Switch 2 because I do not have one. And again, Nintendo guy for life. Nintendo will always get my money. So gonna play all those exclusives.
I didn't have FOMO until the Pokopia, or however you say that game. Yeah, that one's got me a little FOMO.
VR Jasmine, I'm sorry, she's got my real name now too. Jasmine Uniza was streaming that last night, and I just popped in to say hi because I just met her at GDC. More on that in a minute. And I'm hanging out there for 90 minutes. I was mesmerized by this game. I was like, I guess I'm buying this too.
Yeah, exactly. Next question from Dan. Would you play flat screen games in VR? I think he's sort of meaning like like the cloud gaming or like
Xbox and GeForce. Yeah. I have. I tried all those for the channel, for my YouTube channel. There was never a point. Okay, let me rephrase this. I think for that to happen, the form factor needs to get to this. It needs to get to like glasses. I never at any point forgot I had a VR headset on. And I think after a while, everyone has their fatigue point in VR. It could be 45 minutes, like you talked about with the Quest 1, 2 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours. My record in VR is 9.5 hours, I think. But on average, my VR sessions are shorter than just sitting here in my gaming chair playing with my PC. Or if I have a Switch handheld, laying in my bed, pillows propped up, playing on the Switch. Until the form factor gets better, I don't think I ever do that on a regular basis. I plugged my Switch into a capture card and played it in VR. It was cool for the novelty of it all. If I take another road trip for work, I'd probably do something like that. But no, honestly, as it stands right now, no.
Yeah, sort of what are those glasses called? There's a few versions of them now, like the glasses where they throw the screen up
Yeah.
in front.
There's like the Victor glasses, Till 5. Where's Catan? I'll say it for you. There you go. Yeah,
Man.
like those glasses exist, but even then, like the field of view is more limited than the VR headset. So I think VR needs to get to, like, if I had the big screen beyond, I'd probably try it there. But then that thing's wired, and I'm never gonna forget that tether's there. That very heavy tether goes to my PC. So yeah, there's always going to be a friction involved that flat screen gaming just doesn't have, at least now. So I think the tech needs to advance a little bit more for me.
For me, and I know Dan's not asking me, but I'm going to answer anyway. For me, where I want a cloud game is when I'm out on the go, which is when I don't have the Wi-Fi or internet that's really capable of cloud gaming. So if I could sync a flat game to my headset and then play it like when I go on a trip or something like that, I'd say I would probably use it for that. Or like I'm in my car a lot, but I'm not driving a lot. I'm like parked. So a lot of times I get out and I play Synth Riders or something like this. But on cold days or super duper hot days, or on super sunny days, maybe I could play like a flat game in the car. And like I've played the Citra VR and I've done it, but like none of it's like a big flat game that you'd be playing on like Xbox, really, right? So if I could do those in those situations, I'd be more inclined. But where it stands now, I'd rather play on a TV.
Same, yeah, same.
As a consumer, which we all are here in America, are you interested at all in the Steam frame? Even though as a VR device, there may not be much difference compared to a Quest 3.
Short answer, no. I'm not a tinkerer or a modder by nature, so the whole open source, open platform thing doesn't particularly appeal to me. I'm a gamer at heart. I go where the games are. I've seen very, very little developer enthusiasm about it. And even for the developers who are excited about it, they have games on other platforms that have access to. So sure. I would need exclusives to buy a Steam frame as a consumer. As a VR enthusiast and now someone who works in it, yes, I'm very interested in what happens with it and how it affects the ecosystem and things like that. Just me, Mike, no. I am not on the I hate Meta. Meta is the evil console of evil train. And I think that is the biggest claim to fame that headset has, is that it's Valve and not Meta, honestly.
Yeah.
The foveated streaming, all that stuff, like all that stuff's great, but also it's a streaming first, standalone second headset. Valve has said that themselves. It is meant to be for streaming PC VR. I have 6 PC VR headsets in my house as it is right now. I don't need another one.
It will be probably pretty good at the flat, like all the Steam Deck verified games, playing those at least flat, which I guess I could already play on my Steam Deck. So,
right.
But hopefully they'll be able to get better than the Steam Deck games to be able to play.
And that comes back to the last question. Unless that thing is exceptionally light and comfortable, which I'm told weight-wise it's comfortable, but it's not light, I'm still going to know I'm wearing the VR headset. I'm still only going to put that on for a couple hours before I'm like, I'll just play it on my monitor. I'm good. I'll play it on my TV. I'm good.
I will say, as the year has gone on, like my birthday's February, I'm usually like, ooh, I'm gonna treat myself. So I was hoping those Steam frame like pre-orders were gonna go live in February, and I could be like, yeah, I'll treat myself to a little birthday gift here. Right. But as this year's getting going on, and now I've got my partner's birthday and a trip to Puerto Rico coming up, and I'm like, oh, money is a little not as loose.
Wait, who's hosting when you go to Puerto Rico?
We actually we haven't discussed this, so we'll talk about it. It'll be in like a month or so. Yeah. Damn. Yeah. Moving right along. After the big news of Meta dropping single player games this year, what's your outlook on the rest of the year for VR? We have the Boyz, Little Nightmares, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles coming. I guess it's a wait and see at this stage.
Okay, this is going to go out after the VR game showcase. I think after people have seen that showcase, and I'm not going to say it out loud, there will be one or two more games that I think people will be excited about. But if you go back and look through the last 3 years, there were really only, I'd say, 3 to 5 games that people knew coming into the year to get really excited about. And by the end of the year, you're like, oh, we got all these banger games. But most people didn't know last year that like Arcade and Ghost Town were going to be a thing. And then in the fall, all those other games would come out. A couple of years ago, you know, there was like Batman and Behemoth and Metro and Alien Rogue Incursion. But we didn't know that all of those were going to drop in that same period, you know, at that point. Like we didn't hear about Batman until the beginning of that year. So I'm excited for what we still have coming, and the fact that there's going to kind of be a resetting of the market with Meta pulling back from first party, and VR going back really to its indie roots, where it kind of, and you know, developers just messing around and trying different things as opposed to, well, this doesn't work in VR. I can't stand that sentence. Because if that was the prevailing notion back in like the 2010s, we wouldn't have got half the amazing stuff we got now. No one thought that chopping blocks with a lightsaber would be one of the most popular games in the world of VR. But, you know, Jaroslav Beck did. So I'm looking forward to the experimenting that'll happen in the coming years. As far as the rest of this year, I play Little Nightmares. My thoughts are on Upload VR's website now. Go check that out. I will have played the Boyz in full by the time this goes out. I just got it yesterday. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles I've now played twice. There's
more
some
than
good
the
stuff.
demo?
Yes, I played the demo at Steam Next Fest, and I played the GDC. We'll talk about that in the next segment. Because with that embargo should be up at that point. Yeah, so I'm still excited for what's coming. And I'm an indie guy too. I love playing indie games. I think some of the most fun puzzle games I've played have been indie games. So there's gonna be some good stuff that comes that will just kind of come out of nowhere. That happens every year.
Facts. And I realized I stopped doing my bit, but here with the last question, I guess I'll bring it back. Okay. Would you do Paul with Dan one day? Yeah, God, that was terrible. That was awful. I'm not even gonna do it again.
Oh my Lord!
I'm done.
What was that?
I don't see. I need to hear the accent before I could do it, so it wasn't in my head. That was like a mixture of like. I wouldn't even get it. I'm just gonna move on, and hopefully nobody ever brings this up ever again. It's been a while.
When I think of that, I think of the phrase "and such." And such always comes out.
He does say "and such."
Yeah. Yes, Dan. I would absolutely love to do a pod with you. And in the 3 years or going on 3 years, I've guest hosted here and there. I've been on with the two of you, but I've never just hosted with Dan. So it's gonna be a completely different energy than hosted with you.
Yeah, it's
anytime, Dan. You know how to get me. DMs are open.
And then Dan can try his American accent.
Oh, yeah,
banana. I love how he does it when he tries to do banana. It's really funny.
You probably do a Southern accent. Most people who aren't from the U.S., whenever they try to do an American accent, it's always either New York or some kind of Southern accent. One of the two. That's all we have.
It's pretty good. Anyway, that wraps up our very short, as always, part 1 of getting to know Mike, Upload VR game journalist Mike Johnson. And in part 2, hopefully you stick around. We're going to get into his time at GDC and the news. See you then.
Hey, we know public lobbies in VR games can be a bit toxic, feel a bit empty at times. That's why we created the Let's Talk Oculus Discord, a friendly community that you can join for multiplayer meetups, general VR chat, the game, and chat about VR, fitness motivation, and there's even a very impressive 3D printing channel. Join over 100 of our community members in the Let's Talk Oculus Discord for free. The link is right in the description.
Welcome back to LTO episode 231. And I am still here with Upload VR game journalist Mike Johnson.
At some point, I'll stop laughing at that.
And he recently got back from GDC, where he did a lot of behind the scenes stuff, meetings in hotel rooms and on the floor interviews. And he's going to be talking about some of the stuff he's allowed to talk about here. Mm-hmm. So go ahead.
Sure.
Lead us away.
So I think I don't know how common knowledge this is, but most of the stuff that I do happens behind closed doors. I had 6 or 7 meetings lined up. I was only there Monday and Tuesday. Just get that out of the way because that'll become important in a minute. And between Monday and Tuesday, I had 7 meetings lined up. So starting from the morning, then, we go get coffee. Kyle Riesenbeck, our operation manager, my boss, basically was there with me the whole time. This was my first professional gaming conference. So he was there I called him my chaperone. He didn't like that, but he knew he's been in the industry for so long. He's known a lot of people. So he was there to kind of like steer me in the right direction. If there's someone that I did not need to talk to for any reason, he was there to help me with that stuff and to facilitate any conversations, make sure I was comfortable in the room instead of just walking to, a room with a freaking CEO. He wanted to make sure that I was comfortable and I could conduct the interview. He would step in if I found myself stammering or anything. That sort of thing. He was there as a safety net. And I appreciated that. Yeah, exactly. Introduced me to some really cool people. Met some people from Pico. They were really nice, stuff like that. So I'm trying to remember the exact order. But I'll just list off the stuff that I played. And embargo will be lifted on all but one of those because this will go out after the VR game showcase. But let's see. I played Spy Master from Inner Space. I cannot talk about that. I know for a fact I cannot talk about that. Other than that, it's coming. Inner Space are the people who made A Fisherman's Tale, Another Fisherman's Tale, One True Path most recently, and Mask Maker.
Can you talk about what type of game it is?
It's a spy game.
Okay.
And that much is out there. It'll be out there on the VRGS. Yep. So yeah, it's a spy game. I played another version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Empire City. I played that with the CEO of Beyond Frames, Ace St. Germain. And also met a lady named Maeva Spombergs. I hope I said her last name right. I've known Maeva for almost 3 years now, just corresponding back and forth, coordinating coverage, game keys, stuff like that. Really, really, really nice. So it was the coolest thing about the trip was meeting people that I had known for years. I met, quote, VR with Jasmine Uniza. I met Eric Masher. It was really cool to meet these people that I've interacted with through podcasts and DMs and stuff. Yeah, and everyone's either taller or shorter than you imagine them. It was funny. So it's like the first thing Kyle said to me when he got off the plane and we met up at the airport. It's like, you're way taller than I thought you were going to be. I'm 6 foot for those who don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think he's 5'11". Dan's got us beat.
Oh, God, the funniest picture was when you guys took that group picture of PAX West. And I was like, okay, so either Dan is a giant or everyone there is shorter than I thought. Because it was you, D. Scruffles.
Scruffy,
yeah. Yeah, it was you, Scruffles, Stratus, and I think Amelia and her husband, and then Dan.
Yeah, Dan's like 6'3", 6'4". Yeah.
It's like head and shoulders above the rest. So I was like, either Dan's my height and everyone there is way shorter than me, or Dan's a giant. It was funny. Okay, so running through it. I interviewed Andrew Ike from Alchemy Labs, CEO of Alchemy Labs. We played the New World and Dimensional Double Shift. That should be it. Yeah, it'll be up by then.
That's a hand tracking game, right?
Yeah, it is. It is multiplayer job simulator with hand tracking. That's the fastest way to describe that game. So familiar with Job Simulator, which also has hand tracking, by the way. Add multiplayer into it and the chaos that happens with that. That's what that is. But they have a new DLC coming out because the game itself is free to play, and they've just been releasing new cities periodically.
What's the new one?
The new one is called Sporeland. The new one's called Sporelando. Just from the name, from the pun, it's mushroom based. But there was, let's see, the first one I believe was Triaddle. Then there was Hexus.
It was New Joyzy.
Joyzy was the other one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love these puns that they do. It's fantastic. That was my first time playing with a Galaxy XR. Yeah, it's
Sold?
A headset that exists. No, I wasn't. I don't like a headset because look at my head. For those who are not watching the video, I have a very bowling ball size head. It's very heavy. My mom reminds me of it every time I get on her nerves. She's like, I gave birth to you in that big old head of yours. I don't like headsets.
Do look like they're
they're begging for mercy. They're begging. The arm here is just begging, like, please, God, get off. Let me rest. No, the amount of pressure on my forehead wasn't super comfortable to me. I like a really good top strap, so it feels like it's sitting on my head as opposed to like pressing against the back and front. I never really felt like I had to get fit. I'm sure with time, because my demo was 20 minutes, I could get a good feel for it. But just from that demo, I was like, I don't know. The game itself was fine. It looked great because of the panels and the screens inside the Galaxy XR. The headset itself, that wasn't really a big fan. But hand tracker was really responsive. It was fun. It's fun.
Is the Galaxy XR like a? Is that the one that's like a Apple competitor? So it's got real good lenses. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's I can't remember the exact lenses on it. I just know what I saw. And when I saw it, it looked great inside the headset. I need to reiterate that the picture was fantastic. It was just the fit. And that is down to personal preference. Everyone says comfortable or not comfortable. I think we can all agree that the default Quest strap is terrible. But aside from that, comfort is completely subjective. So
yeah, I've got a buddy who I got a Quest 3, and he uses a stock strap. Like, I gave him a secondary head strap that like I had an extra one, and he prefers a freaking jock strap. It blows my mind. He's not like a big user, but you know.
I gave one to my stepdaughter, and she put the old one back on because she lays in bed with it, and she wanted the lying down mode turned on. So yeah, to this day she used the strap. Anyway, get back to GDC. Let's see. So Ninja Turtles was a lot of fun. I learned that game was a lot more open world than people realize. The co-op, when you get out into New York, there's like random crimes that happen, and you can either, if you've ever played the Batman Arkham games on flat screen, not Batman Arkham Shadow, because that was very linear, but Arkham games on flat screen, when you're out in the world, you might get a radio message from Alfred saying, hey, there's a burglary happening or a mugging happening. And you go to that part of the city and, stop that, and you get XP for that. So it's very much like that. So I did that. I did the boss fight. It made me way more excited for the game than the demo Steam Next Fest did. And I thought the Next Fest demo was really good. So excited for that. Little Nightmares, like I said, is on the site. I literally had a very tight, compacted 25 minutes to play that. So, and when you're in these demos, you don't really like go dig into the settings, and I just took it as was. So snap turning, you'll see a lot of those because try to make everyone comfortable. Little Nightmares specifically had a lot of traditional gaming media coming to check it out. So they had it set up for them. Vignette was on, snap turning was on, that sort of stuff.
Was that on a Quest 3?
That was on the PSVR 2.
Okay.
And I remember why I don't own the PSVR 2. For no lenses, man.
You have trouble
once you get pancakes,
with the sweet spot?
Yeah, once you get pancakes, man, you can't go back. I have a very wide IPD. My IPD is 71.4.
How wide does the PlayStation go? Because it does it automatically, I think, right? No, you can widen it, but yeah, I don't know.
The widest it goes, I believe, is 70. But with pancake lenses, because Quest 3 only goes to 69, but because it's pancake lenses,
it's everywhere.
Big wide sweet spot, I can still see everything. It was perfect. So sweet spot aside, game looked really good. It absolutely nails that really unnerving sense of scale that you get playing the Little Nightmares games. That excellent demo. I said Spy Master can't talk about.
Sorry, did you play Midnight Walk?
Yes.
Did it have like that kind of vibe?
It was more tense than Midnight Walk. Midnight Walk to me felt like a dark fantasy puzzle game.
Yeah.
And you have cute little pot boy there to kind of lighten the mood, and there were NPCs and conversations. It's a dark world, but it didn't feel like a dark game, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Little Nightmares feels like a dark game.
I gotcha.
When you get on the train, my demo took place in the train station, and when you board the train, there's this like dong musical note, and the conductor, which is this creepy worm looking creature, like skitters across the ceiling. And I'm like, oh, and yeah, it's good stuff. You guys are really gonna like that when it comes out. Nice. Let's see. I interviewed Lucas Martel from Mighty Coconut. That's on Upload VR right now. That's a very long interview, but gets into his background in Hollywood. Lucas worked in Hollywood. Do you remember the Will Smith, Tom Holland animated movie Spies in Disguise, where Will Smith is a secret agent who becomes a pigeon? That was based off a short film that he wrote and directed. Lucas wrote and directed called Pigeon Impossible. So he gets into that and how he brought that kind of sensibility and those skills and applied them to what they do now at Walkabout. Because if you think about Walkabout, like the typical game is built in 2 to 3 years, and it's just that one game. They're building worlds every X number of weeks. So they're probably working about a year out. Like they already have 2027 planned. They're working on 2028 right now. They haven't built them all, but they already have them like planned what they're going to do.
Yeah,
they're doing. Yeah, so they're cranking out that many worlds, and they're getting more and more complex as you go through them. You kind of have to have a production mindset when you make stuff like that. So he gets into all that, and it's really interesting. I was fascinated the whole time. Interviewed Andrew Ike.
I want Mighty Coconut to sort of harken back to those animation days and like team up with maybe Baobab and give us a nice VR animated movie / short film.
Yesterday, I got a message from the PR company from I think Arvore is how you say it, the Pixel Rip people. And they made a movie that just premiered at South by Southwest. It might be out on the website by the time you guys hear this podcast. But I'm going to be checking that out right after this podcast ends. I love hearing about VR developers making like immersive movie experiences.
Yeah.
Think of something like the Pirate Queen along those lines.
Okay.
So because I love like an interactive movie is something I'm very into. Maybe that's not what I would do all the time. But as a one-off, like 45-minute experience, I'm all about it.
Cleanser. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, any other games?
I'm thinking Ninja Turtles, Spy Master. Oh, Wrath on the Ruin. I met with the Flat to VR people. So I spent about 30 minutes just talking to Jasmine and Eric. All that was off the record. We're just making that connection because they knew Henry, who used to work for Upload VR, and Ian, who also used to work for Upload VR before. So they just wanted to meet the new kid on the block and kind of get to know me. Jasmine already knew me. We've talked for quite some time before. Master and I only knew from when I was in this chat when he was doing podcasts. So,
right.
But that was a really good conversation because all three of us are kind of in the same boat. We used to be content creators and now we're doing something completely different.
Very true.
So we had a conversation about making that adjustment. Eric talked about, one, physically cleaning himself up, shaving, losing some weight, stuff like that. And trying to put forth a more professional look. And, Jasmine talked about pivoting her channel to now she's doing a lot more tech related stuff because it's kind of weird reviewing games when you're also a game studio and you're a publisher, Yeah,
it's a bit awkward.
That was a really interesting conversation. That won't be on Upload. That was just, for me, but nothing there was embargoed other than the game stuff. But just talking to, there's been so many creators. Mike VR Oasis, Gamertag started 2080 Games and XR Game Labs. There's Flat to VR Studios and Impact Reality. VR Gamer Dude is starting his own thing. Adam Bombody started a VR course for VR content creators. Like we're all branching into different things as opposed to just I played a game. Here's a video about it. And I think that's fascinating that we're backdooring our way into the industry that way. So
great. I'll try to find your own lanes there.
Yeah, because let's be clear, if I don't start my Twitch channel, I don't have this job right now. My Twitch channel has gotten me 2 different jobs in VR right now, working for 3 Pound Games and now this, which is wild when you think about it.
Yeah, it's just incredible.
Yeah, the connections and the people that I've met through streaming has now turned this into a profession for me, and that's pretty nuts. Sorry,
you are VR journalist, Mike Johnson.
Yeah. I'm gonna get used to that, I swear. But and GDC. Okay, so getting back to the floor part of GDC, we left the floor part of it where Pico had their booth and Meta has their booth and all that. That didn't open until Wednesday, and we flew home that day. So I missed out on all that, and I missed out on Pico's talk and Meta's talk. But truth be known, we got live coverage of that basically from our friends who were still there. So within 5 minutes of Chris Pruitt from Meta saying something, I knew exactly what he said, and I was relaying that to the rest of the team at Upload. And then, 5 minutes after his speech ended, social media got flooded with all of his quotes. So we were able to pull from that. And we didn't need to be there because we weren't going to be able to sit down with Pruitt directly and ask him some directly pointed questions. So really the only thing I feel like I missed out on, and I really don't feel like I missed out on because I know I'm going to get to eventually, was Pico, because Pico kind of dropped the, hey, here's the Swan and Pico OS and all that good stuff about a week beforehand. We'd already booked our tickets. So I'm kind of sad I missed out on that, but I did get to talk to a couple of people while I was out there. So still got to make that connection and, shake some hands and get some email addresses to follow up on.
Very good.
It is work though. It's a lot of fun. You meet a lot of cool people. It is work though. I never lost the fact that I was there for work. I was writing every night. I slept maybe 3 hours both nights I was there. Yeah, it's work for sure.
You sleep the flight home? You able to sleep on the planes?
I don't sleep. I don't sleep on planes. So I just crashed when I got home. Yeah,
I can fall asleep before takeoff sometimes.
I can. I've never been able to my whole life.
But that was VR at GDC. We had some Pico, some Galaxy, a couple games. Sounds like a great time. Sounds like you probably go again.
Yeah.
I
would absolutely go. I would absolutely go again. It was so odd going to a professional conference as opposed to like PAX East or DreamHack down here, or MomoCon down here. I'm going as a fan. I'm just having fun and goofing off. There was like, I had to make sure my phone was charged. I bought a battery backup just to make sure I brought it with me so my phone never died, because my phone is how I recorded all of my interviews, because I knew we weren't going to do video. Making sure that like my digital business card and my QR code was up to date and had all my correct contact info. Switched over from live open mic. It's a weird vibe, or a different vibe, going to one as a professional than going to one as, just Joe Schmo,
consumer.
VR fan. Yeah, exactly.
What's your next sort of trade show that you might go to as a upload?
I don't know. We're talking about that now. AWE is in June. Gamescom is in August. Those decisions get made above my head. So as soon as the decision's made on whether we're going to attend, and then if they want me to attend, I'll hear about it. So I'll let you know when I know.
One day I hope to go to Gamescom. It is not in the near future for me, but it does sound like a fun one.
That's an expensive flight. So
yeah. Moving right along, we got a few news stories, and then we'll get into part 3. But first, the news. So this week, Meta closed their metaverse. You might have read. But then you also, if you stayed on that same news channel for just 10 minutes longer, you might have read that they changed course and resurrected the metaverse. Of course, what we are talking about is Meta Horizon Worlds. And they originally were going to move it to just mobile and web, and completely sever off VR. Then some passionate community members, shout out to Jay Dunn.
Just had his 40th birthday, by the way. Happy birthday, bro.
Happy birthday. Yeah. Happy birthday. Gosh, what is their channel called? Because now it's...
Getting Things Done.
Yeah, there we go. Getting Things Done. Yeah. Who reached out to Boyz, and they had a second heart that they didn't seem to have for the Echo VR people, and they brought it back. So you will still be able to play Horizon Worlds in VR. However, they will no longer shove it in your face. It won't be with the like all the worlds won't be with your game apps and all that jazz. It's basically what we've been asking for forever. Both people who liked Horizon and who didn't just wanted it to be an app like VR chat that you could go to, select if you wanted, but it wasn't like thrown in your face. You're happy with this, I take it?
Yes. I wasn't happy that they were going to get rid of all the worlds. I'm glad they pivoted, even though I have whiplash from how many times they've changed course in the last couple of years. My neck hurts. But no, I'm glad that for people who spent hundreds of hours, and there are people who actually were working in Horizon professionally. They were making quite a bit of money off of their Horizon worlds, just like people make a lot of money in VR chat worlds and record worlds and things like that. That ecosystem was thriving, just not at the level Meta wanted. And I hated the fact that there were about to be a bunch of people. Just like, think about what would have happened if TikTok had actually shut down here in the US, and how many US creators would have lost their entire livelihood from that. That's what was about to happen on a smaller, much smaller scale with Horizon. So I'm glad they have course corrected and given those people that avenue back. But then, like you said, we're still going to benefit, because it's not going to be, I'm not going to open my games catalog and have to go filter down through to games, because worlds are right there. I'm not going to see Blobber Bay and Kaiju Showdown and all those other, or Kaiju City, whatever it's called, just sitting there in my library like I installed them. That pissed off a lot of people. Like you said, both for and against it. So I'm glad that they are changing that. And yeah, that was a fun thing to cover because our story went out, and then I think 36 hours later, hey David, because David wrote that initial story. We're like, Boz just said in his AMA that they just decided today that they're going to do something different. And I didn't talk to David directly. I just put the messages in our Slack channel where we kind of communicate back and forth. And I was just thinking to myself, he probably woke up and was like, what? Because David lives in the UK, for those who don't know. That AMA ended, I think, at like 1 a.m. David's time. So he was probably in bed and probably woke up to, wait, what? That'd be a fun wake up call. So
yeah, he must have to stay up late. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A lot.
Yeah, he said he works odd hours.
I just feel like, yeah. And then I wanted to get into a little bit of the Steam sale because you wrote an article for Upload VR covering a lot of the Steam sale, and I saw that it had
not even a lot of it. Not even a lot of it.
It had a few games that I really liked, and I wanted to mention them real quick here.
Yeah.
Some things that might be library ads like Half-Life Alyx, but more recommendations that I love. Hubris, it's like $7 or $8 I saw.
Yeah, it's super cheap.
Love the game's worth that. Like 100%. Such a fun little adventure. Moss, it's a third-person action platformer, if you will. Is that how you describe Moss?
Yeah.
It's got a lot more action than like Max Mustard, That's sort of what I wanted to get at. Iron Rebellion, multiplayer mech, incredible. You want to feel like you're inside of a mech? You play Iron Rebellion, and I know it's just multiplayer right now, much to, honestly, my chagrin, because as much as I like multiplayer, like, I kind of want, I want more. I want like a multiplayer PvE, if you will. If I'm going multiplayer, I generally don't like PvP. And PvE is on the roadmap for Iron Rebellion.
I wrote that story.
And then I just wanted to shout out one game I think Dan would shout out. I think you should get the 7th Guest. God, I can't. I've lost it. No more accents for real now. Mike, do you have any recommendations from the Steam sale?
Oh my god. Okay. Hold on. Let me pull it back up here. Let me turn off VR support.
Luckily, we're an hour and 20 minutes in. Everybody who doesn't love me is left.
No Man's Sky is a game I have hundreds of hours in. That's 24. That's like $24. You mentioned Alex because it's always on sale during these. $18. If you don't own Alex, it's $18. Go buy it. Just go get it. Let's see. Elite Dangerous, another VR supporting game, is $6. DMO, Dungeons and Dragons Battle Mark, is one of my current obsessions. It's my for me game. It's $24. It's $24. That's a game that even if you don't feel like there's enough content there now, they're going to add to it. They're going to be adding more campaigns, things like that. Just like the first DMO only had one dungeon when the game first started.
It's a slow burn.
Yeah, and then they just continually add on to it. So, you mentioned Hubris. Into the Radius 2, $28. Metro Awakening, one of the biggest games of 2 years ago, $16 is 60% off. Saints and Sinners 1, that game absolutely should be in your library. It's $10. $10.
Steam sales are dangerous.
Yeah. Dungeons of Eternity, the game you and I both love. It's $20. Yeah, there's so much good here. So there's over 1,500 games on sale right now. And
crazy.
It's funny when I submitted that, they were like, are you sure there's over 1,000 games? Like there's over 7,500 VR games on Steam. So yes, 20% of the store is on sale. And when you look at 20% of the stores on sale, you don't think that's a big number. But then when I wrote it, I was like, there's over 1,000 VR games on sale. There's a lot of crap in there. I openly admit that there is a lot of crap in there. There's a lot of adult games and baby's first VR game in the Unity Gray environment. There's a lot of that stuff in there, but pretty much go check your wish list.
Stick to what we talked about.
If you have a game on your wish list, it's most likely on sale right now. So go check your wish list. You might get something for like 89% off. Pick it up.
One last one that I did see, Overload, which plays like You need some VR stomach for that one.
Okay.
but it's a pretty good old one, like 2018. Then a couple quick hitters here. Microsoft Flight Sim coming in April to PS5, PlayStation VR 2. Mike, it looks incredible, and I am appropriately hyped.
Now, do you own it on PC?
No, I did buy it on Steam. Tried it. It didn't. It was around launch time. I couldn't. It did not run well on my PC, and I was like,
"Gotcha, okay."
Return. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like No Man's Sky on PSVR 2, you're probably gonna get the most optimized version of that game for VR. So I think you'll be very happy with that.
Yep. Yeah, this was sort of when GPU prices and all that sort of really. I mean, honestly, when I got my PC back in the day, it seemed crazy, but things are just somehow crazier. I was like, you know what? I'm getting my PS5 Pro, and is going to hold me over. And honestly, for high end VR stuff like GT7, No Man's Sky, and now Flight Sim, it's worked out for me, I'd say. Pretty well. And Subside, honestly, that one's much smaller, but Subside looks really friggin' good being under that water. I know you're a agoraphobic.
I'm thalassophobic
or whatever. Yeah, that's it.
Thalassophobic, yeah. Agoraphobic.
I knew it was. Yeah. I knew it was.
There's a phobia. I'm something phobic. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we got 21 Pilots Stressed Out hits Beat Saber. In their what do they call those
shock
releases?
Drops. They're shock drops. Yep.
It makes me think of Home Alone.
Yeah. Someone already commented.
You like this one?
Yeah. Someone already commented in that story. Oh no, this was DM I got saying, why would I care about this when I can just grab a custom map? And I have to remind people, I have to remind enthusiasts of this all the time. Enthusiasts already have access to this stuff. That is not for you. That is for Joe Blow, who only plays Beat Saber maybe once a month, but loves that song. That's who that is for.
I mean, honestly, and I do the custom songs on Synth Riders. It's pretty easy there. I mean, I haven't checked in a while for Beat Saber, but last I checked, you had to mod it basically, like break the game kind of, and then every update that came to the game would break it.
You got to redo it. Yeah.
And
like for people who don't care. For people who don't care for that and just want to get, an official track, it's for them. Like if you're into getting custom songs in your rhythm games, you're already out of the demographic for what they're shooting for. So just bear that in mind. Like you're not the target audience.
Very true. And now a couple just negative Nancy news. Sorry, but Ubisoft closing their one VR studio. Very sad. It's the one that did Star Trek Bridge Crew, which I've enjoyed in the past. Who knows how long those servers are going to stay up now, quite honestly.
And Assassin's Creed Nexus, yeah. Yes. 105 people lost their jobs there. That sucks. And it's been a really crappy 3 years for gaming. This is another one. Even if it weren't like VR, because people were like, it's Ubisoft, who cares? Like, that's one of the longest tenured developers in gaming. You hate to see that happen. So,
for sure.
I was a fan of Bridge Crew. I was a fan of Nexus. This sucks. There's no other way around it.
I did enjoy Nexus. I didn't, of course, finish it completely, but I...
Shocking.
Yeah, I did put in a good amount of time into that one.
Last game you finished, Samson. Last game you finished. I got to ask.
Oh, God. I don't remember offhand. That's a lot of pressure to think of.
2024?
I will say, when we get into games that we've been playing, I am very close to finish a game. And that is Dispatch.
Okay.
But I haven't. We're on the last chapter. Anyway, before we get into that in part 3, Firewall Ultra has been taken down from the store. Sony said no more Firewall Ultra for you. And honestly, you
can still buy the first game.
It's not surprise. Yeah, you can. You can still buy the first game, and those servers are still up. It's not so much that the Firewall Ultra that they're shutting it down, because the studio shut down a while ago. So it's not really a surprise that there's an end date to the servers. It's really that why did you just pull it down completely from the store instead of making give it a last 6-month hurrah, make it free to play, and because the servers are still up. If you own the game, I own the game, I could still get in it until September. Why not just just give the game like a nice little farewell. What they decided to do was just take it off the store completely.
Okay, Samson, this is where I remind you that Sony doesn't do things magnanimously.
That's fair.
Frankly, I'm surprised it took them this long to go ahead and shut the game down, if I'm 100% honest with you. It wasn't making them money. They've probably been losing money on the service for quite some time. I would imagine those player numbers are not super high. Because once, the company shuts down, no further updates are coming. Although Sony pushed something out, I think last year. Last year, 2024, they put out an update for the game. I'm surprised it took this long. So it sucks because I know there are a lot of people who are really excited about that. But from everyone, I never played the game, full disclosure, never played it. For everyone I know who did play it, it just felt like they kind of made all the wrong decisions in game design. That's
sort of what I heard. I played the first one just once. Really, what I've heard about both of them is it was a lot of waiting around to get in lobbies and a difficult time to meet up with people, which is
the worst.
Not what you want in your VR game. Anyway,
I think you're making a shooter. It's got to be cross-platform. It's got to be on every platform. It's got to be cross-platform play. You have to, just to get the player base up.
Yeah. That's where Triangle Factory is kind of nailed it there.
Got down to a science. Then Pavlov too.
So that was part 2 where we talked about GDC and some news. And thank you for listening to that part. In part 3, we're going to get to what we've been playing and some games out this week. See you then.
Let's Talk Oculus is available on all good podcast platforms and some rubbish ones as well. If you want to see the video version, it's available on YouTube and Spotify. And also, if you love us so much, then consider throwing us $1 at patreon.com/letstalkoculus. Back to the show.
Welcome back to part 3 of Let's Talk Oculus, episode 231, where I am still here with Upload VR game journalist Mike Johnson. And
I should put on my Ray-Ban so I look more official. There we go. Yeah, I don't know.
And now we're going to be nice. Dude, you look so much smarter. Wow. We're going to be talking about... I
can't wear those with headphones, though. I can't wear those with headphones.
Yeah, they get in the way. Our games we've been playing this week, and then the games out this week. And as mentioned in part 2, I played some Dispatch in big screen. We've been doing it in 2 chapters at a time, if you will, and we have 1 chapter left. It's getting intense. I don't particularly like that there are hacking bits where I need to use the keyboard and mouse and sort of pressures on. Everybody's watching me try to move this thing around and not get basically eaten, if you will. It's kind of like a Pac-Man mini game, if I had to describe it quickly. And the one of them I was unsuccessful, and I felt bad. I felt bad letting people down and not being able to show them that dialogue. But I'm having a blast. Have you played Dispatch?
I've not. I've seen it start to finish. God bless Twitch. Twitch has saved me so much money on games. So much money on games.
Very true, especially for that type of game. But good. Bounce it to you. What you been playing?
The Boyz, trigger warning for work. And I've played it. I don't want to say much more than that. No, because I don't know if this podcast.
Yeah, I know.
Well, yeah. I don't know if this podcast will drop before or after my embargo lifts. So I don't want to say anything more than that. But I played it.
Seek out the Upload VR article on it if you'd like his impressions.
Yes.
I got into ArtQuest VR, which is a art museum app. Essentially, you can organize the rooms by artist or by particular museum. All the art is then pulled off of a wiki site, something like this. And you walk around, you can play multiplayer, and you can now basically follow somebody. So you can have a few people all follow one person. And then when they choose to go to a new museum or a new artist location, you all follow them. There's blurbs next to the artwork that you can have read to you in various AI voices, and it's pretty cool for the art lovers out there. Some of the art, it gets pulled from the wiki. So some of the art you're looking at it and you're like, this is inside of a frame, but it's like a picture of the artwork. So you could see the frame that's real inside the frame that you're looking at. So there's a few like immersion breaking moments like that. But if you get a good one, like there was one I walked right up to it and you can see the strokes on it. Like if you were at a real museum, you can get right up to it and like just see the process behind it, if you will.
That's cool.
Art Quest VR, if you're interested at all. I think it's like $12.99. It was recently on sale, so wishlisted if you want to find it on sale. Otherwise, get in there.
Back to me.
Back to you.
Escape from Hadrian's Wall. It is on Quest and on PC. How can I describe this?
Hadrian.
It's not quite that. It's not a boxing game. It's a fantasy puzzle game. It's a weird game to describe, but in the combat scenarios are card based. So, you're basically laying down cards to lay your troops in battle, almost like an auto battler, but you had to lay them in the correct configuration and move stuff around to basically like the combat is a puzzle too. It's a really interesting concept. I've been enjoying it so far. So playing that, I'm playing that on PC and really liking it.
That's a single player game too?
Single player. It's me. So yeah.
I figured.
Yeah.
On that, I'm gonna just put these in together because they pretty much come up pretty often here, and that's Walkabout. I got in, I think last Sunday evening, and gosh, I'm going to forget everybody I played with, but thank you for coming out to play, and we had a blast. And I've been getting into Synth Riders at work here and there, had some breaks. It's finally, as mentioned earlier, very, very warm here to be able to play outside, and I've been trying to find the most public place I can appropriately play to just get people to see some crazy guy playing VR and be like, oh, what's that?
Yeah. What do you think of the new update, the new progression system?
I love it. It's so cool. It's so nice to have like I love like the data of logging how long I've been playing or like how many times I play, like the year in reviews. I love those things. And so it kind of gives you a reason to get in and like just always logging this. Like before, if you finish a song, you just saw your score or whatever. It was cool, saw the leaderboards, but now you see numbers go up. You see bar fill. And it's a lot more dopamine.
Yeah, it creates that, one more song mentality for sure. Walkabout for me, of course, I'll lump these in, close this out too, so never run along. A Walkabout and Battlemark. Demio X Dungeons & Dragons Battlemark just got an update, new character. It says a new one shot. The one shot actually exists in the second campaign already. So if you did everything in the second campaign, it just unlocks. It's called Audra's Cradle. But the new character it's a warlock. I've been playing with him for quite a bit and trying to get him leveled up.
Nice. And you just were able to, like, the character's unlocked off the bat?
No, there's a side quest you have to complete to unlock him. It took me about 10, 15 minutes to play it. And it's in the second campaign. So you have to have already started the second campaign to get to it. You talk to a character in the tavern. They send you on the quest and you'll take care of it.
Gotcha. That might be what the person who asked a question a lot earlier that in the comment on the last episode, I might respond that to them.
Okay.
And maybe that's what's gone on. Now the very fun part, games out this week. We've, honestly, it's been pretty slow for games out this week, and now it is not. So, would you like to start, or should I?
I'll lead off, because I'm playing this right now. The Boyz VR Trigger Warning. Developed with the creators and featuring cast from the hit series, The Boyz Trigger Warning plunges you into the gloriously twisted world of The Boyz. This time, you're not watching the chaos, you're in it close up, personal, and dangerously real. I don't think I need to read the second part. That's a plot summary.
All right.
So, yeah, I'll skip that for the sake of time.
Copied it right from that, or from the store page. So, do you have to watch the show?
It helps to watch the show. It helps to be familiar with some of the characters. In the same way that Men in Black, it helps if you've seen the movies, just so you kind of get some of the references, but it does stand alone as a game. It's fine as a game by itself.
Next up, we got Bloxer. Put them up. It's time for Bloxing. Bloxer combines physical movements with real-time strategic thinking in a vibrant pixel environment. Punch your robot friend to align correct blocks together in rows or columns and chain those to get extra combo points. Compete in a lobby of up to 9 players online and train not only your muscles, but also your brain. Knock down the other contenders and climb the leaderboards to become the best Bloxer on this planet. And the other planets, too.
So, just quick note, that's in Kuvo making that game. They made Track Shoot to Survive recently. They did Green Hell VR, Bulletstorm, just in case anyone's curious. They also did the Quest port of Pirates VR Jolly Roger. Okay. I like to give context for what other devs have done. So people kind of oh, I know that game. Yeah. Oh, and The Boyz is by the people who made Pixel Rep, of our studios. So
that's my mind has this trouble with associating those two.
It does, and I had to push it out of my mind when I started playing it because I'm like, this doesn't look like Pixel Ripped.
Yeah, exactly. So this Bloxer game kind of looks like multiplayer Tetris 99 kind of.
That's the vibe I got from it when they first sent it to me because I wrote up the I had to put it in the calendar release for March. So I looked at it, I was like, this is like Tetris with punching. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm kind of intrigued. I wish I was. I don't know why I'm as intrigued as I am, but I am. I do love Tetris, listeners know. I don't so much love punching to play Tetris. Mm-hmm. I don't know how I feel about that, but we'll see. To you.
All right, Protect My Cow. Protect My Cow is an arcade roguelite developed for virtual reality and mixed reality. You pilot a ship that moves freely across an island, shooting down enemies to stop an alien invasion. Your one and only mission, protect your cows from being abducted. This sounds like a bit of just silly fun. I love silly fun. You need I don't have to just turn off my brain and just play. Yeah, just play something just ridiculous in VR. So
yeah,
I never heard this until I read this just now. So I'll be checking this out.
I honestly, when I saw it on the store page, I thought Horizon Worlds were still there, but it is an MR game. It basically looks like you've got your cows on an island in your real space, and then you control a ship. And you just get flooded with enemies that you fly your ship around your room to try and kill these enemies that are trying to. It sounds like abduct your cows.
Almost like a tower defense. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And last game out this week, Skytale. Living among the clouds with your legendary bird-like companion, your idyllic life is shattered when corrupted fiends, not friends, steal your Skytale's offspring. Now you must harness the telekinetic powers of the ancients and take to the skies and daring rescue. Wield a wide range of telekinetic abilities, using elegant gesture controls, crush foes, tear them apart, or charge them up and hurl them around the room for devastating impact.
This one's Code Sync. They made Men in Black, Men in Black got me my job at Upload. I will always have an affinity for that game. I'll
Dan
just
loves
say
it
that.
Too.
Yeah, Men in Black is why I got hired there because they liked my review of that. They also did Jurassic World Aftermath, a great puzzle game called Shadow Point that everyone should play. And a nice little turn-based game called Augmented Empire that used to be an Oculus Go game. It's on Quest now as a mixed reality game. I think it's like $10. So
I have recently picked that one up in a sale. I haven't hopped in yet though.
Yeah, good developer. Really good developer.
Got to support them, you know? And that wraps it up. So the Boyz, Bloxer, Protect My Cow, and Skytale. Hell of a week. Quite the variety. Something for everyone there. Thank you all for listening. Now we got to the plug part of our show. I'll be seeing Dan and Noble Squashy this week at PAX East. I am beyond excited. I've got to get the house ready, and it's going to be fun. This is a year 2. We're going to get some Beano in. It's like a soccer board game, and some couch multiplayer at the house. I'm fucking hyped.
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
And last year was the first time you met Dan in person, right?
No, we honestly, what is time these days? But we had met previously to that.
Gotcha,
I've lost track of when he visited. When he was in Vancouver, he visited the Boston area, and I drove up to Boston. We got like a lunch. I think that was the first time I met him.
That's cool.
Kind of like a short, little. It was really weird to see him in person though.
Yeah, I bet.
Sure. But do you have anything you want to plug about yourself, your shows, or your work?
Work's the main thing. Just upload VR. I have an author page, but I'm not going to try to direct people to just read my stuff. Just read everything. We're not competitive there. James and I have passed stories back and forth depending on who's busy and who's not. Hey, I just saw this on Twitter. You want to grab this and write it up. Or this just came into my inbox. I'm not sure if you got it. It's very much a team environment there. We just want the site to do better. So spend time on upload. If you run across any news, because I'm in 47 Discords and I'm checking those. I go to Meta blog and PlayStation blogs every day. I look at Steam every day, but I don't see everything. So please, if you see something that you think is newsworthy, not like a hot fix for they fix some glitch in some weird area, but if there's something you think is meaningful, Mike at uploadvr.com. Feel free to reach out to me.
Nice. You got that? You didn't even have to do a Mike J or anything. It's never been a Mike there yet.
No, keep it simple.
I like it. Lovely. And if you're into Twitch, check him out on Twitch as well.
On Twitch 3 days a week. At Live Open Mic on Twitch.
Nice. Well, thank you for not having us.
I'm gonna tell what? Huh?
You. Thanks. Yeah. Thank you for joining.
Wow. Okay.
Thank you for joining. It's been a long one. I was telling all my friends all week that we had Mike Johnson on the podcast.
And they're like, who's that?
I said, don't worry, the good one.
Oh, wow. That's why it's weird when people realize that was my name. They're like, oh, you're that name. Like, yeah, I know.
Anyway, I also told them that I'd throw in a Mike Johnson joke, but I'd have to put it in really late. So I did that.
Yeah, it's fine.
Anyway, Thank you, everybody. See you next week. Dan will be back for episode, what is it, 232?
232.
Wow. 232. Bye.